Hey, I'm Kev, welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the Rider Career. So we're heading to the flyaway races near the end of the season, beginning with Japan. So we are around the Tring Ring Motegi circuit where Patrick McDonald will be looking to get back on the top step of the podium. We'll need to do it round. It's a very tricky circuit, lots of long straights and tight slow corners. Beginning with, or ending with, the chicane onto the front stretch. That is not the best way to launch yourself over the start finish line. Begin your first 2 laps in qualifying. There's lots of slow corners that lead into corners as well. You've got this double right to begin with. Fell out through the second of them. Bit too cautious in the first part maybe for Patrick McDonald. But I've been looking to get revenge on the charging Alex Marquez in this championship. A couple of races ago, Ned Franco Morbidelli virtually have one hand on this trophy, but now his teammates charging. So is Miguel Oliveira, less than a race win behind. And of course Patrick McDonald over a race win behind, but it's very much on their level. Maybe just that first half of the season. Too slow in the first third, not grabbing enough victories. Maybe his downfall to winning the championship, but it's definitely showing he belongs in it, does Patrick McDonald. Let's move into this team. He's won virtually every race he's done with them. Should have won in Silverstone and the Sachsenring as well. And then of course Aragon coming so close yet so far. In the end, after making a mistake, his own mistake, taking too much curb. He likes to do that occasionally, does Patrick McDonald. And it really did cost him on that occasion 5 points. It's at 5 points to 5. If you asked the other McDonald previously against Morbidelli, it is. So we'll see if that will affect him at the end of the season. But let's just concentrate on this weekend for Patrick McDonald. Well, of course, where we got the pass around this circuit. Definitely in Moto3 last season. But his first qualifying effort, 52.6. Maybe not the best. So you go a bit wide in the first part. Try to get on the power though. Was not liking that, the rear tyre. As he's kind of turning and trying to get the power on. It's not working. Now into the second left, going a bit wide again. It's Baldessari just a faster that, but 10th second faster. McDonald's opening effort, but no, he was like that in Misano as well. Unlike Misano, McDonald was down by almost a quarter of a second in that first sector. And now Nakagami, the home hero, 52.4. Getting another 10th of a second faster. Let's go through the right hand and just got to check the throttle through that. And now 0.6 of a second down. McDonald not improving on this second lap. Now clipping up the dirt, running wide. Needs a magical second half of this lap. He goes on to this back straight before the long back straight. Coming out this hairpin. He goes wide, tries to get on the power early, but again, wheel spin. And he's still 0.7 of a second down, 3/4 of a second down on the leaders as he does a 52.0, does Morbidelli. And again wide from McDonald. He is not improving this lap. Just went to pieces when he needed to improve. He did at least get the final chicane right. That's about it on that lap. As he crosses the line with a 52.7, which was a 10th slower than his previous effort, which only gets him onto the third row alongside Baldessari and Shorter with Sabi. Round out the top 10 ahead of Kent and Marini. As on the second row, got Nakagami, Passini and Oliveira, but grabbing pole is that man once again, Alex Marquez, by 2,000 of a second ahead of Morbidelli, 10,000 of a second ahead of Luti with Ika right at the back. So what can Patrick McDonald do? Can he charge through the field and grab another victory? So we are looking at the grid with Nardi Luti on the front row. Alex Marquez a bit shocked maybe. And Gary Paul and Nick, so with Light still in the middle of the third row alongside his former teammate Schrotter. And Baldazar maybe even cost him that victory in Aragon when he's battling through the field. The Italian put up a good fight. Been a nice roadblock there. Has looking further down the field, you got Remy Gone 24th. You got the other home hero Nakashima in Trajape leading the 10th row, and Yusha Sweats at the back. So we are revving up the engine, waiting for lights to appear. And go out for this 6-lap race. Bit of wheel spin for McDonald, but a good launch into the first couple of corners ahead of Nakashima, but gets pushed right by Piscini, and it's like gets into Baldassari. That's for the last race. He's probably staying under his helmet. Gets back past Nakagami. Again behind Piscini. Oh, the Italian's down. Did McDonald orchestrate that? He's got Marini into the top 10, round the outside of Shirota's. McDonald in 7th. Not really making up any places on his opening lap. As now he's got Nakagami in front of him, holding him up. Gets into Shirota again, down to 9th. He's got Xavi in front, the Spaniard on the Tech 3. Got Corcho ahead of Kent. Or was it Danny Kent? McDonald got into it. He's down on the opening lap. What a horrible beginning to this race. And now he gets into Nakashima for 28th. And now he's into Piscini again. Trying to get ahead of Corsi in the speed up in its light. Calls that Bazzani in the speed up. So we're going down the inside of Remy Gone of Binder. You've got Navarro in front in 19th. Got Vinales battling Cortese for 16th. We've got Gone ahead of Binder for 21st. We're all back into the top 20. Going to get back into the points for the end of this lap. Run slightly wide, almost into Navarro though. Let's head into the chicane. Taking a very wide line into the left, now into the right. As Nakagami's down in front, the home fans. They're all leaving now. The hero's down. And not scoring points today maybe. So here goes McDonald into 16th maybe. Looks like he's grabbed it. He's behind Cortese ahead of Isaac Vinales now, past Xavier Simon as well. Over that start-finish line into the first corner. McDonald once again have the charge through the field. Almost into the back of his former teammate. It's into the next left. Again, that rear tyre not responding yet, not up to temperature. Let's go into the hairpin. Taking the wide line and out braking himself. That's always a good idea. And now into the right hander. He touched too much of this curb, did he? No, it's the next curb into the braking zone. For the left hander, definitely nowhere near it this time. And past Cortese. Trying to go round the outside for 14th. Onto the dirt, he does it. Now down the inside for 13th. No, he's down. And there goes Patrick McDonald's title hopes probably, as he's behind Manzi. That's how bad it's got for him this race. Up into the top 25 now. He's got Raffin and Binder in front. Now the tyres are up the temperature, but now he's got to push and he's middled out to it. May even grab a top 5. As he tries to get into the right hand, it's just felt strange to bike this whole weekend, not stable at all. Trying to go into the left, trying to go around the outside a couple right. Next like Corsi went down there. As he's still got Piscini, he's still battling with the Italian. As he head on to the third out, it's Pisani who went down on the speed up. As now next like Raffin's holding out a number of riders as McDonald gets back into the top 20. As we've got Binder and Navarro battling for 22nd. And you go down this back straight. Into the first left. Look at this, the rear tyre's not responding at all to this race. As Baldassarre out from the top 5, the Italian. And there he is, having to get back on his bike. As Raffin again attacking a teammate. You know, must be wondering what the heck is he doing. He's got Baldassarre right in front, back then to get back into the points. But so is McDonald as well. He's behind Xavier Simon, the veteran of this category, the Belgium. And there's Baldassarre right in front of McDonald. He's used to the Italian roadblock. He's learnt from previous laps to go around the outside now, into the hairpin, round the outside Remy Gardner, into 17th. And you can see a point right in front. Divides it, Vinales. And there is the point for McDonald, very tight in the exit. Gets into 15th ahead of Axel Points. Got Simone Corsi in front for 14th, a second in front, no. Here's the Italian. It's almost into back in was Baldassarre. Got Sandro Cortese battling for 12th with Dominic Agata. Good race for the German. To go through the final chicane. McDonald trying to nip for 14th. To go into the second half of this race. He's got at least a point. What can he achieve? Can he even grab a top 5? He gets past Agata. Now he's got Corsi and Cortese. As Baldassarre up to 16th ahead of Pons. So McDonald, fantastic braking into the left, down the inside of both of the riders. Into 12th. Very wide on the exit though. He's got Danny Kent over a second in front. Breaking middle of the road into the hairpin. Smooth on the power though. Got Bagnard battling with Shorter for 8th. Got Cortese holding off Corsi behind. The Italian will never give up. Always a good fighter. And there's Danny Kent right in front now for McDonald. He really is charging on this 4th lap. Finally getting a good lap together. Phoenix round the outside of another former Moto3 champ. As there's Corsi ahead of Cortese. Told you he never gives up. Looking around the outside of Kent. Not having an into corner, maybe on the exit. As he gets some switching down this back straight off the Brit. And now there's a top 10 right in front for McDonald. As he does outbrake himself though. He has the outside line which comes the inside for the left, so holds off Kent as Donny Hernandez now down from 27th. Lots of riders falling this race. And here's McDonald getting into the top 10, heading on to the penultimate lap of the race. Head of Surin. Got Shirota in front. Big dive from McDonald for 9th. What a move. But he needs to make them. As now he's got Bagnaia in front for 8th. Runs slightly wide in the first left. Let's see if he can hook up the second. Gets on the power smoothly enough. Now the rear tyres responding. It's up to temperature. Then again, he's got over a second gap in front. Very spread out the field. Lots of second gaps. Don't normally see that. As he struggled to get on the power there, McDonald. But top 5 still not out of reach, which considering how poorly this race has gone for him, that would be a result. Maybe the end of his title chances, but that's still a very good result for him, as it's Bagnaia and Courtois having a very good race in 8th is the Frenchman. Battling for a top 7. And it looks like the Italians winning out at the moment. Former rivals in Moto3 as well. Before stepping up to the intermediate class. Look, almost 2 seconds ahead of his former teammate. That's how much time that dive into the first corner has earned McDonald this lap. As he gets on the power a bit shakily. Now Surin ahead of the German. So into the final chicane, sneaks down the inside the Frenchman into 8th. Now got the slipstream of Bernard heading on to the final lap of the race. In a sterling ride for McDonald. But it's after a shocking beginning. As he does another fastest lap. Now he's got the Spaniard in front on the Tech 3 in a superb sip for Xavi. McDonald's not a sentimental type though. He's going to cruise right to the back of the Spaniard and try and make a move, and then he'd see a top 5 right in front. As he's putting down fast out of the fastest lap in the second half of this race. There's McDonald. But that first half of the race was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Did not get a good start. Got stuck in the midfield. Then made mistakes. But like Aragon, he's made up for it. But maybe too late in the grand scheme of things. He dives down the inside the Spaniard into 6th. And there's a top 5 in front. I believe that's his teammate in front, Luti, who's holding it. So he's down under braking. Gets going again in 9th, does McDonald. Doesn't matter that fall. He's a solid 4th in the championship, and that's where he's going to finish it, looks like, this season. Lord, he's thinking about next season maybe after this race. Look at that, he's ending it poorly, he's run wide. Trying to stay in 10th. As here comes his ex-teammate. This is for that dive bomb, remember? He's got Morbidelli, who wins the race. An important victory in the context of the championship, so is this result. As in her sight, the 4th wheel is gone. Down in 10th in the end for McDonald. Absolutely abysmal race from him. As he had the pace, look at that fastest lap. So 13.1 seconds behind Morbidelli, who wins comfortably ahead of Olivier and Marquez. His charge has been halted by his teammate. With Luti in 4th, it was Marini in 5th. Superb result for the Italian. Ahead of Xavi with another excellent result in the Tech 3. And their battle for the top 3 ahead of Suter. With Bagnai in 7th, Corcho at 8th, Sir in 9th, McDonald in 10th, ahead of Shirota, Bessuta in 11th. Corsi on the speed up in 12th. Good race for the underdogs. Baldassari recovers to 13th ahead of Kent, and Cortesi grabbing a point ahead of Axel Potts. We have Yoni Hernandez at the back. So in the championship, Morbidelli leads by 18 points ahead of Marquez, with Olivier in third, 24 points back, and McDonald out of it. Over 2 race wins behind with just 75 points to play for. In 4th, with Luti back into the top 5 by 11 points ahead of Passini. And then we've got Marini up into 9th by a single point ahead of Xavi. Further down, Surin up to 15th with Axel Pons down to 18th. And Sergio Cortez with first point of the season up into 23rd ahead of Xavier Simon. There's just 10 riders haven't scored this season. As in the constructors standings, we've got Calix, who have won the championship. 89 points ahead with 75 points remaining ahead of KTM, who have guaranteed 2nd. But it's closing up in 3rd with Suter just 18 points ahead of Tech 3 now. And his speed up in 5th. Absolutely terrible from McDonald. So with the championship pressure off, let's see what he can do in the final 3 races of the season, beginning with the visit down under. As here is Patrick McDonald round this Phillip Island circuit, fabulous circuit. Let's see what he can do over 2 laps. If he can do much better than he did in Japan, I hope he won't get caught in the midfield heading towards this very fast opening corner of the lap. Taking it in 3rd gear, over 100 miles per hour. And then into the next left, he outbrakes himself slightly. Bike drifts right. Up to 3rd gear, it'll be very difficult to get a rear end that's compliant. A bit like Japan for most of that race, as you can see, a bit cloudy overhead. A bit colder, the temperatures. So might not have the bike on this opening that, but maybe once it's warmed up a bit. Be much better on the second lap, but into the hairpin, that was nicely done. Then into the left. Just waiting for that bike to turn back around. You'd see difficult to get on the power. Let's go into the right-hander. Using all of that curve, virtually flat out. And into the left, over the ridge, where McDonald really does gain time on his opponent. And downhill into the hairpin. Clipping that inside curve, maybe too early a turn in note. Here's the final couple of corners which kind of flow into another on this Moto2 bike. Not as much as the MotoGP bike though. We take this final corner in third gear, nail that throttle on the exit. Right up to the exit curb. And then this one's going to be a 31, is it? No, 32 for that. Definitely needs to be faster than that, McDonald. As it goes into the first corner, takes out in third gear, and so we've got an erratic Skyotera bike in front. It's all right up to the curb in the first part, and this second corner, kind of corner to apex, so you can really meet that first apex, run wide and meet the second as Neil did there, but he's slightly slower in his first lap. He goes far out through Casey Stoner corner. Into the hairpin, out breaks himself, and that's the end of this lap. But it doesn't matter, he's grabbed pole once again by 0.6 of a second ahead of his teammate Lutia. 1-2 for Interwetten with Marquez on the front row. Point for the championship, Morbidelli leading the second row alongside Olivia and Passini. We've got Baldassare, Nekigami, Schrotter and Savi running out the top 10 with Ika at the back. So, business as usual in qualifying. Will it be the same in the race? As here we are, nicking out a fantastic grid with the Kenyan on pole. Light still ahead of Magnum, and then looking further down, Nakagami very happy with 8th there ahead of Shirota and alongside Baldassare in that third. Running outside the top 10. Everyone is where you would expect, really. As he goes the home hero, Remy Gardner down in 24th. As here we are, revving up the engine, wait for the lights to appear. And go out for this 7-lap race. Well, these are 7 fast and furious laps. And this time McDonald's got a good start, holding the lead into the first corner. Means he doesn't have to compromise his line through that. And then into the second corner. Which he does tighten up here. You can see he can take this tight line as well. Treat it as one corner. Seems to be going well for McDonald. Looks like already 2/3 of a second up on his teammate Lutu over the Riviera in third. No Mark VDS bike appearing. Very important for the championship. Now really bring the KTM back into it. If that is the case. Especially you can grab second out of the Lutu because it doesn't look like McDonald's going to give up this first place. And there's opening that. Right, back to business for him. And there is the KTM into second ahead of Luti. He hasn't shown the best race pace in recent times as Swiss rider. So let's see if we can hold off the Mark VDS bikes as well. And see what Oliveira can do to McDonald. He really has raced away in this opening that. 0.6 of a second ahead. The KTM. He's kind of pegged it back as Oliveira. As there goes Morbidelli already past Luti for third. Already bleeding positions. This is just right on this opening lap. Might get worse as the race goes on as using all of the exit curb onto this front stretch. Here's McDonald onto the second lap. Over 3/4 of a second ahead of Oliveira. 37.4. Fantastic opening that. And let's see if we can hold this lead for the remaining 6. Grab another victory. You never know if someone is struggling behind in that championship battle. Or could grab a top 3 this season. He's 1.2 seconds ahead over the Oliveira. Trying to take that Casey Stoner corner flat out. Had to really step out of it though. Just runs right into the hairpin. Very easy to do that. After such a fast corner leading into it. And again into this left-hander. Very tricky at apex of all these corners with the undulation, the bumps, the speed as well. So there is eating into McDonald's lead. Goes slightly wide in the right-hander. And through this fast left over the hill. Then down again. Down even to first gear. As he got exactly a second lead on Oliveira behind. Short shift up to third, try and get on the power, but the rear tyre's not complying. We've heard that before. As it's a bit brighter in qualifying though. Temperature should be higher. You can see not many clouds in the sky now. As we go on to the third lap. And the lead is back to over a second. So even if he can't drag it out over, Morbidelli now takes second into the first corner. So at least to match him, McDonald on that second lap. Which he does the fast lap off. But now, he's going to start pulling away again. As with everything up to temperature, this is when he's quick in this middle part of the race. Already gained a couple of tenths in the first sector. Runs wide. And the hairpin where Olivier's taken back second from Morbidelli. Where's Axe Marquez in all this? Looked like he was the man on the move in the championship a couple of races ago, but let Morbidelli win in Japan, and now he's not even battling for the podium place, it looks like. In Australia. It's like Morbidelli once again is the king of the castle. It's a 1.3 second gap to Oliveira behind. Now it's a much smoother out of the penultimate corner into the final corner. Just going to dab the brakes, keep it in fourth. And very smooth on the exit, helps with the tyre wear as well. There's virtually none of it heading on to the fourth lap. We've been very consistent out front, 1.7 seconds now ahead of Oliveira. It runs wide in the first corner, he sets another fastest lap in that third lap. And that's much better into the left. Treating it as one corner seems to be much better than treating it as two. Being fast in, fast out, but very slow in the middle. Almost 2 second gap behind. Let's go into the hairpin again. Got a helicopter actually moving about, it looks like, in front. Not just hovering in the middle of the circuit. As Morbidelli gets back past Oliveira for a second, this is definitely a battle for the championship for the KTM riders. If you finish behind Morbidelli here, you'll feel he's almost out of it. Which is the same for Marquez as well. It'll be virtually Morbidelli's crown leaving here. And he grabs second. They have almost a race win lead on both the Spaniard and the Portuguese rider, or the Italian. He goes into the hairpin. 2 second gap now. One Morbidelli behind. As they are battling, they cost themselves time. McDonald just got clear road in front. Having a Sunday ride here. It's into the second half of this race. It has not been... No one's been ahead of him in this race. They go almost 2.5 seconds in the lead now. As Olivier gets past Morbidelli with the slipstream down that front stretch. That's what can happen here in Philippine. You can group up, you can pair up. You basically just be slipstream each other if you can keep together for that start finish straight. It's almost 3 seconds in the lead now for McDonald. Using that bump to nicely get into the apex of the left-hander as well. Went slightly wide into hairpin again, but wherever you heard that before. There's Morley back into second in that hairpin ahead of Oliveira, but grabs it back on the exit, does the Portuguese rider. Morley having a bit of a leery lap, running right into the left-hander. Still the lead. It's around 2.5 seconds now. Lost half a second thanks to that messy sector. So he goes over the hill and tries to go far away from the chasing pack. It's into the hairpin. Gaps around the same. So not the best lap from McDonald. The gap's comfortable enough. Heading on to the penultimate lap of the race. He seems to be performing well with the pressure offer as well, and Japan just got too much for him. Made way too many mistakes in the opening lap. Then spent the rest of the race trying to catch up. Made another mistake. And then on the final lap as well, making a mistake chasing the top 5. Well, here he's made no mistakes. He's been 4, this says McDonald. Okay, apart from that tiny mistake in qualifying into the hairpin, apart from that, he's been immaculate. What he should have been in Japan. This is 3.2 seconds ahead of Oliveira. Going into the hairpin, actually meets the apex. Look at that. Got it all slowed down. For once, with Morbidelli back ahead of Oliveira though. In the battle for second, a race-long battle. They seem to be inseparable around here. And they're 3.1 seconds behind the master McDonald at the front. Needs to be grabbing another victory in this bike. He seems to have good runs. Then he has a shocking race. This is when he started winning on his bike. In the first half of the season, he had that poor race in Sachsenring. Then another couple of good victories, and a poor race in Silverstone. Then a couple of victories in podiums, and a poor race in Japan. He needs to up that consistency next season. He wants to win this Moto2 title. Let's go on to the final lap here. Another mid-33 for McDonald. 3.4 second gap ahead of Morbidelli and Oliveira. That's the main question from this race. Who's going to be grabbing second? It's definitely not going to be Alex Marquez. He's not even on the podium. And so the Spaniard could perhaps see his title chances fading away. As there's the helicopter back, hovering over the middle of the circuit. Obviously had a bit of an adventure in the opening half of this race. Maybe the pilot's gone a bit bored of just hovering in the middle of racetracks. We explore this Flyaway circuit, and I don't blame him either. This is just half a lap to go. The flags are raving for everyone in the crowd, in the grandstands. 3.5 second lead for McDonald over Morbidelli. It looks like he's getting back that one hand on the trophy here in Fair Island. After midnight, everyone is catching him. After Aragon, he has put his authority once again back on this championship. 3.6 seconds now behind McDonald. He'll grab a victory. Another one this season. He goes through the left-hander for the final time. Another victory in Australia. As McDonald wins again. Maybe too late for the championship, but he could definitely chase down the top 3, maybe. He wins out. And as you're 6 seconds in the ahead of Morbidelli's couple seconds ahead. Vieira Baldassarri in 4th. Fantastic result for the Italian, bouncing back from Japan as well. Lutti with a top 5, just ahead of Alex Marquez by a couple of seconds. A couple of tenths of a second, with Passini in 7th. Xavier, Bagnai in 9th. Agata ran out of the top 10 on the Suter, superb result. Then you've got Nakagami 11th, Rini 12th, Courtois 13th, Kent 14th, Pons the final point ahead of Sir with Manzi at the back. So in the championship, Morbidelli has over a race win lead heading into just the final 2 races of the season. 50 points on the table. And McDonald still has an outside chance. He's 49 points back. You never know what happened in the final 2 races. But it looks like Morbidelli's got one hand on the title. With Oliveira up to second, level on points with Alex Marquez. What a battle for second we've got, with Lutti in 5th, 13 points ahead of Passini. Then we've got Baldassarri in 7th, Bagnai in 8th. Savi up to 9th ahead of Marini. Further back, you've got Pons up to 17th ahead of Corsi. As in the constructors' standings, it's Calix 380 points, 98 ahead of KTM. Suter in 3rd, 16 points ahead of Tech 3. They're not giving up on that 3rd place. With Speed Up in 5th. As yes, I'm very happy. McDonald, after the misery of Japan, good to end the episode with another victory. As in it's like Oliveira and Morbidelli exchanging notes after a fantastic race-on battle for second. And yes, here we are parting down under. with full reputation achieved. Final 2 races of the season off the back of McDonald's 7th win of the season, looking to grab another one and then another one maybe in Valencia in the longer race. There'll be 9 victories this season. It'll be half the races. It definitely show McDonald has had the pace this season. But we're looking at Japan, where he finished 10th, Britain in 6th, Germany in 9th, Italy in 9th. And of course, Qatar beginning off the season in 31st places, where he should have grabbed much better results than be in that championship hunt. Maybe he'll be looking to improve that next season, where we'll be thinking, where will McDonald be in the next episode, the last of this season? Let me know down below where you want McDonald to be. Would he be in MotoGP? Would he stick in Moto2 and win this title as well? Maybe stick with Interwetten or move to another team? We will find out next time. So, for watching, I will see you then.